Welcome to a Business Minute with Lily Lopez, presented by the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. What a special day today. We have the Honorable United States Senator Marco Rubio. Marco, welcome to a Business Minute with Lily Lopez. It's such
Thank
an
you.
honor and a privilege.
No, it's my honor.
My
I'm
gosh,
glad to be with you, Lily.
for
Thank
your
you.
time. Thank you for your time. I mean, I know you're working always so hard day and night for your whole state and for the whole country. So before I proceed with some questions, I just want to read a little bit about you. That you were elected first to the United States Senate in 2010 already. Wow, 10 years.
I know.
And you set an objective for yourself while in office to help bring the American dream back into reach of those who feel it is slipping away. You were passionate about the American dream because you're son of Cuban immigrants, and they made their way, and look at the type of son that they have, someone who's U.S. Senator, Cuban American. We're really proud of that. So I know that you're also a member of the Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, where you advocated for modernizing and reforming the federal government programs to help small businesses. I know that for sure. You're passionate about the American dream. You serve on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee as a ranking member of the Subcommittee on Western Hemisphere, Transnational Crime, Civilian Security, Democracy, Human Rights, and Global Women's Issue. I don't know how you have time to be here with me now, absolutely. And I could go on and on. But anyway, it's an honor to have you here today.
No,
So,
thank
Senator,
you.
tell me, I know now you recently introduced a bill about the daylight savings times and keep daylight savings time all the time. And I think that would be great for businesses, because I see that businesses, even in Miami, Florida, where we are, I mean, it's night at 5:30, and then people just go to their home. And also health-wise, because we're very much involved in health in this organization, and we see that people get depressed. So I imagine people who live up north, where it turns dark, pitch dark, like at 4 p.m. So tell me about that legislation.
Lily, my biggest problem is no one can tell you why we keep doing it. Like, why do we keep switching back and forth? There's no logic for it, And so the first thing you say is, well, let's stop the switching. And the next thing is you have to pick, which one of the two do you want? And, the Florida legislature and a bunch of other states have passed laws asking that they make daylight, say the time we're on right now, permanent.
Right.
And I personally prefer it. Other people don't. They say it's too dark in the morning. But there's a couple of reasons why. I think the first is you've highlighted. I think it's actually, I don't know how many people are going to, go to the beach at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. But that extra hour of daylight will allow more people to enjoy outside activities, whether they're here visiting or whether they're just living here like we do, and so enjoying that part of it. I think the second part about it is for young people. In many communities, if you don't have a light in the park, and a lot of parks don't have lights, a lot of schools don't have lights because the neighbors don't want lights, then everything ends at 5:30. So there's a bunch of sports and a bunch of activities that you can't do, and because of the light situation. We have athletic programs in Florida, in South Florida in particular, that have to end, at 5 practices at 5:30. Their school ends at 2:45. So there's all kinds of activities that we can't do because of the lights outdoors. So for all those reasons, I just want us to pick one, and I hope it's this one, and I want it to be permanent. I don't think this shifting back and forth makes any sense in the world.
Absolutely not.
And no one can yet explain to me why we do it. Why do we go back and forth? So
is it looking good? Is that legislation looking good?
Well, it's one of those weird things that has gaining support. The more people think about it, the more they realize. But so it's a big enough issue to matter to people, but it's not. Everybody kind of feels guilty about making it a priority because we're in the middle of COVID. And so, but I think this is something that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time now. And I'm not sure President Biden has pronounced himself on it. President Trump had supported it, but I think we have bipartisan support. I know it's a crazy time, and a lot of things get turned into a partisan issue. I can't imagine daylight savings time could possibly ever be made into a partisan issue.
It can't be a partisan issue. Oh.
I just can't imagine how you do that. But,
me neither, but nowadays everything is partisan. So, Senator, tell me about Amazon. Amazon. What's going on there?
Well, my biggest problem with Amazon is twofold. One is I think the companies was way too big. And I think anytime you have big companies like that, it becomes very dangerous. I don't remember entirely all of this, but I'm old enough to sort of remember when I was a little kid, there was only one phone company and they broke it up. And today we see all the different choices that people have. We're a country that has laws against monopolies. And slowly but surely, Amazon is becoming a monopoly. They're now dominating. They started as a bookseller. They now, and frankly, in many ways, has been quite harmful to small businesses. And I think that you're going to continue to see all sorts of smaller independent businesses struggle to compete with Amazon as time goes on. My second issue with them is it's the largest, company in the world. They have a labor dispute. And my view of it normally is, I don't have a long track record of having been involved in labor issues, because I generally want labor and business to have a good relationship. And I think no one wins when they don't. They need each other. But in this particular case, you have a company that sort of spends, it now controls Amazon Web Services as well. So they have this enormous monopoly control. They use it to sort of establish cultural power, telling us what books they're going to sell, which books they won't sell, censoring people. But then when they get in trouble, they want to go to Republicans and ask them to help them out with the union. And my view of it is, these people just want to make a few more dollars an hour. Yeah, but and the people they're disputing are people that just want to make a few more dollars an hour working for the richest company in the world, owned by the richest man in the world. And so I don't necessarily, I thought that was sort of an easy choice. My preference would be,
I agree with you.
Yeah, my preference would be that they'd be able to work it out amicably, because I think it's always better. And generally, most businesses have a good relationship with their employees because they can't exist otherwise. But in this case, absolutely. I guess, yeah.
And I applaud you for that. So tell me, pharmaceuticals. I know that you introduced the Medical Manufacturing Economic Development and Sustainability Act of 2020, encouraging companies that currently produce medical and pharmaceutical equipment abroad to relocate to the US. And I remember back many years ago when there were pharmaceutical companies in Puerto Rico, and then Puerto Rico after that started really, their economy went down. And I would always say, why did they do that? I think it was in the Clinton administration that happened. So you're trying to bring all of that back to the US, as it should be, right?
Right. And so part of it is that people don't realize, but many of the medicines that we take on a daily basis in this country for blood pressure, or you name it, the active ingredient, we don't make it in this country. In fact, we can't make it in this country because we got rid of all the places that made it. And so we need to have that back. We can't be dependent on China for some of the most basic medicines that we have. So that's a great business, and it's one that should be located in the US. Second, Puerto Rico has a history of making it until some tax changes were made. And so it took away the incentive to be able to do it back in the 90s. So my view of it is, this is a 2-for-1. We get to bring an important industry back to the United States, and we get to bring it to Puerto Rico, or bringing the incentive back so that it can be located in Puerto Rico to help its economy recover after all the challenges they faced over the last few years. So it makes all the sense in the world. Jennifer Gonzalez, the representative from Puerto Rico in the House, is my counterpart in the House on this bill. Right. And I'm hoping we can include it. I actually think, we might have a chance, I hope, to include it as part of the broader China bill, the bipartisan China bill that Democrats and Republicans are trying to work on, because this is China related, but it ends up helping America, and it ends up helping in particular Puerto Rico with getting their economy growing again.
Of course. And what message do you have for our small businesses? We have been a strong advocate. I mean, we were the only chamber that back in August, we did a petition, thousands and thousands of signatures virtually, and we presented it to then Mayor Jimenez to start opening. And so we're really a strong advocate of small businesses. And so give me your take and what you think. How you see Florida? I see Florida doing well, but you as a senator.
Well, I always worry, because when people talk about the economy and it's the CNBC and Fox Business and the Wall Street Journal, the focus is only on the stock market and the publicly traded companies, but the backbone of the economy, small business. When you talk about business, it's a business that isn't publicly traded, and it might, the owner, the sole employee, and the person the accountant, the CEO, everything is one person or two people.
Exactly.
So to me, that's the backbone of the economy, and it's been a tough time. And depending on the industry you were in, like hospitality, you were the first ones to close and the last ones to open, and you're still not back to where you were.
That's our number one industry, hospitality. I never understood that.
But all the jobs associated with it too.
It was horrible.
So it was.
I never understood why they had lines. You could go to Publix, you could go to Costco, you could go to a liquor store, yet you could not go to a barber shop, a beauty salon. You can go to a little cafeteria back in the summer. And I always said, what? It's common sense. Why don't you put that line that you divide when people go to Home Depot, or just put one person behind the door if you're a barbershop, let the other person get a haircut. So it made no sense at all. But I'm so glad that things have changed, and we have a governor like you that's protecting the interests of small business always. And we applaud you for that. Absolutely.
And that was a horrific time. I saw some of the worst haircuts.
Yes. And that was so funny. Yes. I saw that. People love hair too.
I even got to see some people's real hair color, for during the summer.
Oh my God, I know. And I went to do
but
my
no.
hair in the backyard of a lady that does my hair. She said, come to my house. I said, I can't be without my, and then still there were some people saying, you're doing your hair? For God's sake, we're in the patio.
Yeah.
No,
look, it's been a tough time.
You got the extreme.
I know, but there has to be a balance, right? I mean, at some point you have to, like anything in life, but there's a cost benefit analysis to everything we do in life. And to hear the benefit, when the costs of a total shutdown are higher than the benefit of the shutdown from a health perspective, you've gotten the balance wrong. I think we've gotten the balance right in Florida. I think the results are in the numbers. I mean, our numbers are better than New York and California. And our economy is better off too.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what it is. So, Senator, I appreciate your time so much. I know you have to move on. Is there any other special message? Something that I left out? I know we're time constricted, but it's such an honor to have had you on the Business Minute.
My last piece. Today the governor announced anyone 50 and over can have the vaccine. The first chance someone calls you and says you can get a vaccine, get it. Doesn't matter which one. Go get a vaccine.
Okay.
Because I think by June, if everyone does that by May, June of this year, it's already starting to feel more normal. I think we're gonna be able to do a lot of the things that we weren't able to do.
Miami, the traffic in Miami.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's crazy. People are out there. So good for the economy, good for business, good for everybody.
Right.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
On behalf of our board of directors and my chairman of the board, thank you so much, Senator Rubio, for being on a Business Minute with Lily Lopez. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Lily.